Welcome back to the Mike and Ike Show. And no, not the candy. It's a show with Michael Badgley and Isaac Rochelle, where we bring players on and we get their perspective of their story. You can find us at the Mike and Ike Show on YouTube. You can check out our podcast, Mike and Ike Show. And today we have the Austin Ekeler.
Okay, Ike, let me introduce this guy.
Yes, sir.
He has become a Los Angeles legend. He was an absolute hidden gem. He wears number 30 for the Los Angeles Chargers, plays running back from Eaton, Colorado, went to Western Colorado University. Austin Ekeler.
What's up, guys?
Welcome to the show.
Hey, I like the intro, man. Coming
you
in
go.
strong. I appreciate it.
No
All
doubt.
right.
The
Thanks
intro
for
is the
having me.
biggest thing. And just for the listeners and the people that are watching, we really stretched the budget for Egg. We bought new Toro machines and we're at like what, 150 grand for the show?
Something like that.
Hey,
Sure, yeah.
yeah.
Shout out to the grounds crew for setting this up.
No doubt.
Yeah,
Nick,
absolutely.
He's behind the
Appreciate you
camera.
guys.
Appreciate you, man.
But it really is a pleasure to have you, Ek. You're somebody that Badge and I both were anticipating having on because I feel like you just have an unreal mindset. You have a cool story. And I want you to take us back to Eaton, Colorado. When you first started, who was Ek at 10 years old?
Man, 10 years. 10 years ago. First of all, I just want to say I appreciate the setup, something unique, get outside a little bit.
Well, you stretched the budget for special
Yeah, I like it, sit on the big rig.
Listen, but before you get into
big rig.
before you get into the 10-year-old Ek, I'm an East Coast guy. I have no clue where Eaton, Colorado is.
Right, so Colorado, that's kind of where I grew up. It's north of Denver, my town, Eaton, Colorado, about an hour and a half. Town about like 5,000.
5,000 people.
Yeah, in the town, yeah.
So you own Eaton, Colorado. Yeah.
Not necessarily, but shoot, when you're in a small town like that, you know a lot of people, so the community is pretty tight, around, especially around their high school team. And it's all about the high school team because we're playing other small towns, so it's like our clique versus your clique,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's actually crazy that it had 5,000 people. I grew up in a city with 20,000 that I felt like was small.
Right.
So 5,000, super small. So 10-year-old Ek, does 10-year-old Ek know everybody in the town, or are you just
Shoot, not at
hidden
that
gem?
age. Not at that age. When you're in a small town like that, I just remember me when I was younger. I would have my friends, and we all grew up from kindergarten to we graduated high school.
Is it all the same one school, K through 12?
Yep. Not the same. It's not the same building. We got 3 different buildings, but we were all together. So I knew their families, they knew my family, so we got along great, and we just killed everyone in any sport.
I'm still stuck on this 5,000 people thing. We interviewed Zub, and didn't Zub say his high school had 4,000 people?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, but he's from out here, man. So
Him or Feeney had something large like that.
this is like a small farm town. Like our town's literally surrounded in cornfields.
So this is
Yeah, that's why we
almost
brought
even
these in,
more
really.
perfect.
Right. So that's what yeah.
Because Isaac's a farmer to me because he's
It
from,
seems like it's a reoccurring topic
he's
on
from
the
the
show.
middle of nowhere in Georgia, and now we got you from the middle of nowhere in Colorado.
I actually lived on 80 acres.
You lived on 80?
We had 80 acres. Yeah.
What a beast.
How many did you have, Ike?
We had 5, but we had like 20 behind the crib
Okay.
that we still had animals on. Did you
Yeah.
guys do anything with the 80 acres?
Yeah. We had a field. We'd grow silage. It's like a form of corn. And we had wheat, and then we have some horses and some cows every once in a while. So
I mean, I had no clue about this.
yeah,
Sheesh.
that's my past, man. That's how I learned to work hard for sure back in the day.
This is 10-year-old Ek. He learned to work hard.
I'm working, man.
So small town, same friends all growing up.
Yeah.
When did football become a thing? And were there any other sports?
Yeah, I kind of played everything growing up, but more so morphed into football, baseball, basketball, and then track in high school. And so, like I said, all of my friends, we all did the same groups, like sports together. We just could hop from season to season. And, like I said, we just destroyed everybody just because of the chemistry. And, we had some pretty good athletes. Like one of my other best friends, a long snapper for the Raiders. He was our tight end back in high school.
Is he any good?
Yeah, he was good. No, I thought he always was going to go play tight end. He went to CSU, Colorado State University.
Nice.
And, yeah, he ended up going into as a long snapper. But,
Well, what is that supposed to mean?
hey, it's just, he decided not to go the athlete route.
I was about to say,
As far as
listen.
the athletes on the field, the long snapper probably is the most unathletic.
Well, that's not
Just
true.
being real.
That's not
I'm
true.
not-
What do you mean?
The most unathletic is the kicker.
I would say Badge
Okay,
is more
well-
athletic.
Well, listen, I know that, but I'm not just going to let you gun one of the 3 positions that I hang out with the most.
Hey, it's nothing against them. It's just as far as the nature of football
No doubt.
athletes, there's not that tier of, fast, tackling. Like, how many
There's
long
levels
snappers
to it.
make tackles in the NFL? Like,
I know a couple.
Probably
We won't. You know what? We won't get into this.
I can bet you count on 2 hands
Talk
the
to
entire
him.
year.
He's-
Out of all the league, out of all 32 teams, long snappers, you can probably count all their tackles on 2 hands.
Well, you know what? Okay, he's your
I'm just
buddy.
saying.
He's your buddy. If you don't think he's athletic, that's on.
I
you.
mean, he's smart. Shoot, he's an engineer, so that,
Well-
there's something going for him there.
What
Cool.
a beast.
Good for him.
For the record, they're not athletes. But so Eaton, Colorado, I take it that sports were kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
I feel like it was kind of a thing that you guys were like, all right, we're here. We don't have much to do. We got cornfields. Let's grind.
So yeah. During like school season, and that's when the sports was like my biggest focus. And then obviously after school would end, I'd go and work for my mom's ex-husband. And we'd be building fence, and he had his own fencing company, and he'd get like these big jobs. Like I remember his biggest job was like 26 miles for the railroad, and so we were up in Steamboat, Colorado,
I know
pound and post right alongside this railroad for as far as we can even see. And like I said, that's where I learned to work hard, man.
I want to point out, Badge grew up just hanging out. He doesn't know about the grind life. I grew up putting up fences. Don't try to be like, no, I didn't. I know about putting up fences. I know about hitting the T-poles, doing all that.
Oh, yeah.
You're grinding when you're putting up fences.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Don't bring me into this because you both are farmers.
It's just a different lifestyle, man.
It
I
is a
get
different
that.
lifestyle.
I get that, and I never came at any of you
And
for
I'm
that.
I'm not saying that
and
any
Isaac's
lifestyle.
just gunning me.
Don't feel like you have to feel bad. This man does not know about the grind life. But so you're grinding. I mean, I had no clue you were a farmer. What was the high school football scene like? You said, you had a lot of pride because you're from Eaton, Colorado. You're going to Eaton High School, the Fighting Reds.
Yeah.
Fighting Reds, I read that.
What was the high school football scene like there?
I mean, we were pretty solid. We've sent. I think I'm like the third that's been in the NFL just from my little school in the
What?
town of 5,000. Yeah. I don't know if you know Mitch Unrein. He played for like 9 years. He's a defensive lineman. He was on the Bears, Broncos,
Beast.
and then we had a quarterback that was jumping around practice squad. Then me and Trent now. So I guess 4 of us. But Friday Night Lights was the biggest deal because, like I said, the town's pretty small. So people could just walk to the stadium, and so we'd fill up our little stadium that we had over there.
That's the
Little
best
stadium.
feeling.
Oh yeah.
Well, I got to ask you about this. There's one person in particular from Eaton, Colorado that I got to ask you about, and that is Coach Mont.
Oh, Coach Mont.
Give me a little
Bill
rundown.
Mott.
Give me a little
Give him
rundown
a
about
shout
Bill
out. Give him
Mont.
a shout out
Bill
first.
Mott. Yeah. Shout out to Bill Mott if you ever see this. What's up, Coach?
You got to tell him who Bill Mont is, and then just tell us about Bill Mont.
Bill Mott was my high school football head coach. This man was 76.
What a beast.
76 my senior year. And for a 76-year-old, he was still running around, yelling, making sure everyone's up to what they're supposed to be doing. And, he ran the field out there. 76 years old. We were always just astonished. Like, what? This man is this old? He'd literally be running out there. And he's 76. I'm like, oh, my goodness. I hope I'm in that good a shape if I get to that old. But, shoot, he would always, he's old school for sure, too. And so,
No doubt.
he wouldn't hold back on, things that were going on. Like, I remember one time we had a bunch of people in choir, and so they had to leave practice early for choir and to go to their concert.
He's
It was
not
like their
having that.
final. I know. I just remember going, F them, man, F them. They gotta go sing it. It's like, whoa, coach, like, chill, man. Just like,
What a beast.
Take it easy. But no, good old Bill. I'm actually family friends with his family, so we were pretty close. Yeah, growing up.
He's a beast. He's a beast based on what you're saying. How much did he have to do with your development, both on the field and then in your journey, your recruitment, and at the end of it, going to Western Colorado?
I actually didn't start getting varsity reps till my sophomore year. And I was getting just a few here and there, and they were struggling before I got to that level, I guess. And then they're like, hey, well, let's bring this guy up and see what he's got. I was on JV. I remember my friends, we'd all, freshman year, we played JV and C team. So we get 2 games a week and just wreck everybody,
C team.
C team, baby, yeah. We go C team, we say that's the easy game. Then we go JV, it's like, okay, that's a little harder now, But
What is that, like ninth grade ball?
yeah, basically the 9th grade team. Yeah. You guys didn't have a C team?
We didn't have a C team. That sounds like something Nick DeZubnar played for his hockey team.
No
something
doubt.
like that.
Oh, this switch to hockey.
But no, we had a freshman team too. We had a
Yeah,
freshman
you got
team.
C team, JV, and varsity.
My high school had 400 people, so total.
400 total?
Bro, I graduated with 67 people. Shout out to Elka.
Wow.
Here's the thing. So we
And
didn't
a
have
town
any.
with 20,000?
Yeah, there was a
Wow.
bunch of high schools,
Okay,
though, and it was the
okay.
private school, so it was a smaller school.
Yeah.
So the C team thing, I have no clue what that is.
It's a
We didn't have
freshman team.
ninth
It's
grade.
a freshman team.
It's all good. But yeah, but it wasn't until my second year where I really started playing varsity, and then I started, showing that, oh, this guy can actually play. And then, just kept developing. Junior year, I split carries with another one of our backs, and then senior year just went off, had like 43 touchdowns, and like
Your senior year, you had 43 touchdowns?
I had 43 touchdowns in 1 year.
What do you have, 12 games in high school?
Like 11. I was scoring
You guys can do that.
like 4, 5, 6 touchdowns a game. I was averaging like 240 yards of just rushing.
Did you guys win any state
what I was gonna say.
championships?
No, man. We
Oh,
always,
was that a sore
we
subject?
always lost in
Oh,
the
we need to
second
back down
round.
here. We need to back down here.
Ooh.
We always my senior
Second
year. All right,
round?
senior year sidetrack. We went to we'd come out, do the pregame and everything, and it's fine. It's end of the year in Colorado, so it's like wintertime. It's some cloudy snow clouds coming in.
Love
like
the
okay,
details.
yeah, it's like, just pictures. Snow clouds, heavy gray. You're like, oh man, it might snow. So we go in right before the game, and then we come out, and all of a sudden there's 3 inches.
That's Colorado.
Out of nowhere, 3 inches of snow. You can't even see from goalpost to goalpost. Everyone's out there trying to shovel snow and stuff like
Coach
that.
Mont's out there grinding.
All five.
You don't even know where the sideline is.
Coach Mont's out there like, I do it all. I do it all.
Shoot. But in that game, like literally, we tried to postpone the game, but the other coach they denied it, and it was good for them because I fumbled like 5 times in that game.
Whoa,
It was
okay. We're gonna move on
crazy.
from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can cut that. We don't.
But no, so that was my senior year. That's how it ended. But it kind of sucks. But anyway, where were we going back?
So yeah, we were. I mean, I just asked you won a state title, and clearly that just brought up some horrible
yeah.
memories.
Shoot,
for you.
we always
We're
lost
in
in
a
the
tough
second
spot.
round.
I mean, I won a state championship in at least one of my 3 sports, so I just needed to say that.
That's good. I wasn't that fortunate, man.
So you rip off 43 touchdowns your senior year. When did you kind of think I could go play football at the next level? Because you went to Western Colorado. It's a Division II. How did the recruiting process go? Did you ever think maybe I don't want to play football, or what was that whole
Right.
process for you?
So I knew I wanted to go play football after high school, but I wasn't really heavily recruited. Trent, the guy who's the long snapper for the Raiders, he would always have bigger D1 schools coming to talk to him, and they would never talk to me. And I was just like, I saw 43 touchdowns.
Yeah.
What do we need to do, guys?
Like really, like what else do I need to like get it? The competition's not great, but I still dominated. Like I did as much as I could have done.
Right. What was your size at that point?
I was like 186, 5'8", I'm same height, 186.
So you're it's not like you're super small.
Yeah, I'm like
You just say you're 5'8".
5'8", 186.
Oh wow. Well,
We'll go change that on Wiki after this.
Wikipedia's got you at 5'10".
Yeah,
We'll take it. We'll take it.
No, I'm a little more compact than that. It's all good. I think the roster has me at 5'10" too. They're trying to make me a little taller, but
So you're like, what do I need to do?
yeah, so I'm kind of confused. I'm going to my coach, and my offensive coordinator, his twin brother was a receivers coach at the D1 AA in my area, UNC, University of Northern Colorado, and I wasn't getting really any love from them either. So I was like, am I like?
Do I need
What do I
44
need to
touchdowns?
do? Yeah, what do I?
Jeez.
He's like, hey man, my offensive coordinator is like, look, shoot, I would take you when you were a junior, and it just didn't end up happening. And so I had a bunch of Division II schools coming to me, and most of them would say, hey, like we'll take you as an athlete, see where you can fit in. A couple, hey, maybe you can come play corner. Like I don't know if it was my size that people didn't like or my speed, because I wasn't as fast then, and I was still young. I was still 17, so I was still developing, and Western State finally came to me and they're like, look, our senior running back is about to graduate. There's a spot. And I was like, yes, let's go. Like someone finally came to me.
Amen.
Someone finally came to me and wanted me to play the position that I wanted to play. And so that's what I wanted to do, and I went with it.
It's crazy because it seems like it's a reoccurring theme on this show that we have people that come on that it's like, what more do I need to do?
Right.
I have
like,
43 touchdowns.
Right, yeah.
Justin Jackson came on. He's like, I had 6,500 yards or 5,500 yards in college. And I mean, like, what else do we need
And
to do?
seventh round pick.
So you end up you're like, I'm going to Western Colorado. What does it look like when you first get to Western Colorado? And where were you at mentally when you're finally like, all right, bet I'm going to Western Colorado?
Well, I actually had two of my other high school buddies that were older than me going there at the time.
You were juiced up then.
So they were hyping me up to come up there, and so obviously on my visit, I was hanging out with them, and so it was like the best time ever.
Getting rowdy.
It was snowing though. It's in the mountains. It's at 8,000 feet. It's the highest college in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a fun fact.
Our
Go to
cross
Western
country
Colorado.
team is unbelievable. Our cross
Oh,
country.
they can run for days. They can run for days.
They can run forever, for real. And our track team, pretty good.
What about your kicker? I mean, was he just hitting absolute
Here we
tanks?
go.
So
Back
what
to
are
the
we
kicker
doing there?
comment.
I mean,
Oh, yeah, always trying to wrap it in. I like it.
because clearly your quarterback wasn't throwing the ball, because as a freshman you started 9 games and you led the team with 1,100 rushing yards and 7 rushing touchdowns, and you were a freshman.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, when we got up there, it was rough. I think we won 2 games. We had like 4 seniors.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it was. There was no real senior leadership, I guess you could say, with 4 of them. And then, we finally got a group. The group in front of me, because I didn't redshirt, so I was kind of with the older guys, or not older, but the year in front of me, the guys that did redshirt. We kind of stuck together and made it through. And by the end of it, my senior year, we had 25 of us that graduated. So. We just got a squad together, all stuck together, and just went through it all.
So you were kind of like, wow, this is just like high school.
Yeah, basically it was. It really was,
And so you're moving along your college career. You're setting school records. It says,
his
your
very next
sophomore
year.
year. Yeah, sophomore year, 1,600 yards, 2,000 plus all-purpose yards, set the school record. Junior year, 19 rushing touchdowns. You're leading Division II in all-purpose yards.
Right.
I mean, were you like, all right, now you're kind of having the same thought process you had in high school, like,
Right.
I'm out here eating.
Right.
At what point were you like, I might mess around and make this run in the league?
Yeah, so my head coach actually was Danny Woodhead's special teams coordinator when he was at Shadron, which Shadron's also in our division as well, the RMAC. And so about my junior year, let me go back. My freshman year, after the freshman year, my head coach was like, hey, write down your goals. And I wrote down like a bunch of like individual goals and team goals. And at the end, I just put the NFL logo. I didn't put any words. I just put the NFL logo because that was just in the back of my mind.
Did you draw it?
No, I just copy paste.
Oh, okay.
It was
Low-key
type.
artist.
I was going to say.
No. And so I just put that on there because it was in the back of my mind. It was, it wasn't something that I was like looking at right away. But then, after my junior year, teams are starting to call and like actually show some interest. And Coach Baines that's our head coach. Is like, hey man, like you remind me a lot of Danny, And so after during senior year, I had almost every single NFL team come up to Gunnison and watch a practice. So that was
Gunnison.
like, Gunnison, Colorado.
Gunnison,
And
8,000 feet.
At that point, I was like, well, this is actually like this is a real thing. I'm going for it.
Was that
right?
surreal?
It was just because there had been no one up there that had scouts coming to watch him for my entire career there, and so I was the first one there, and there's only been one other person from Western to go to the NFL, and so it was.
Do you know the guy's name?
Sammy Seal. Yeah, he's a scout for the Green Bay Packers.
Sammy Seal.
Sammy Seal. Shout out to Sammy Seal. We usually always shout out somebody.
All right, there
and
you go.
Coach Mont.
There you go. There you go.
So at this point, you're like, all right, let's see what happens because we got all 32 teams. They shouldn't be up here. Like, not many people have been scouted like this, but they came to see Big Ek. What did the process look like when you finally finished your senior year and you're getting more into, like, the weeds of it?
Right. So after my senior year, I'm going over, we go to the break after a semester, and I'm down in Denver, Colorado, and one of my better friends that's a year older than me, Travis Haney, he was running track, and he's like, look, I work out at this place, Landau Performance. He's like, they got a pro day group. And, I was just thinking about it. I was like, man, like maybe I should go train or do something like that. And, I called my mom and I called my head coach, and I was like, look, I'm thinking about not going back to school and just training at Lauren Landau and going all in on trying to make it to the league. And my head coach goes, look, if you do that, I'll hold your scholarship for when you come back. You can have it for that last semester so you can finish.
That's nice.
So just in case
Wow.
I didn't make
What a
it,
beast.
I could come back. So at that point, it was just a no-brainer. It's like, why would I not, just put school aside, because I can come back to that and go all in for a dream that I've had, since growing up.
Since freshman year when you put it on a sheet of paper.
Exactly.
Wow.
And, my mom, she supported either decision. And then, so that was that. I didn't go back to school. I was working out at Landau Performance. Christian was there too, McCaffrey, and so working out besides him, I was always sizing myself up because
No
he
doubt.
was second rounder, ended up going 8th overall, and so working out next to him, like okay, maybe I got a shot because I'm working out with D2 guys all the time. So it's like, oh, these guys are bigger, faster, stronger.
Yeah.
All the D1 and the hype on the competition, and I'm sizing up against these guys. I'm still
stronger
pushing
than
a lot
all
of
them.
weight,
You're
right?
stronger than all of them.
Like in the weight room, these guys are like, oh my god, like are you guys seeing this dude?
No
And
doubt.
that's what I just take pride in. The weight room stuff. That's just my peace of mind.
Which, by the way, I know you guys see him in pads and in helmet all the time, but this guy's absolutely shredded. I think he's got like 2% body fat, maybe less. Not sure.
Not to mention we call him PFP, pound for pound, because he's by far the strongest dude on the team, pound for pound.
Yeah.
And one more fun fact. When you ask anybody on the team who would win on American Ninja Warrior, unanimous decision, it's Austin Ekeler. For that reason.
Not even close. Yeah.
That
Not even
compact
close.
body.
Not even close. So you're sizing these dudes up. You're
Yeah.
like, look, I know I can do it.
Right.
What is
chiseled to the bone?
Well, where'd you do pro day?
So I did my pro day at
Are you
CU.
checking him out in the locker room?
Wait a second.
No.
He's like, he's chiseled to the bone.
Nah,
Like,
he's
when I look at
shredded.
him, It's like, whoa.
I appreciate it. But no, Lauren Landau, the guy who owns the gym, he had a pretty good connection with CU's head coach, and so they let me into there. It was like the after CU's players went, then they had like the add-ons at the end.
Sure.
And so we went through over there, and there was a bunch of us at first, and then after the 40, they cut us down to 2 of us, and then 2 of us just went on to do drills. Yeah.
What savages? They're like, we're
it was
actually
savage.
cutting
It
people
was
here.
like, right.
Go home,
First round
go
of cuts
home.
right now, man. No, it was savage. People were pissed off, because she'd been training just as hard as I was.
Yeah.
I got to that, and it's like, well, what?
That's actually crazy.
But-
They're cutting people down at that point.
But I mean, had a great showing at my pro day, and then I was just waiting game from them.
And then so you're talking to teams, I'm assuming, before draft day, right? They're calling you, they're asking you these random questions that you are like,
Right.
you don't really need to know this. Look at my film. I balled out at Western Colorado.
Right.
What was draft day like for you? Because you went undrafted.
Yeah.
Were
So-
you going into it
You're
thinking,
the first guest.
here we
Zombie
go
was.
again? He feels so just like the victim.
Listen,
I didn't get drafted.
we have a bond.
That's
us,
right. The undrafted folks.
Us eighth rounders have a bond.
Third days.
Yes.
Well, what was the thought process going into it? I mean, were you expecting to get drafted? Were you like, I'm gonna have to grind and climb my way up?
Well, I had an agent, and going into it, the biggest concern that people would talk to, or scouts would talk to him about, was, okay, the size and the competition level. Is he gonna get out there and he's just gonna be, running around, not knowing what to do, playing slow, not being able to be in his element? And so, it was like, well, probably not gonna get drafted at this point, because it's just teams feel like they can. If a team feels like they can pick you up as a free agent, then they're not gonna draft you, right?
No doubt.
And so that was kind of the thought process going in. So for me, I think it even just worked out in my favor, just because at that point I did have teams interested, so I was able to choose where I was able to go.
Yeah.
And actually had Green Bay as one of my tops, and the Chargers. Green Bay, every running back's trying to go there because they had 0 on the roster.
Yeah.
But then they ended up drafting 3. So I was like, okay, my agent called me after the draft. He's like, you're not going there.
You're not going there.
You're not going there. Right? And so I was like, hey, well, the Chargers were pretty hype on me. I remember Tom McConaughey, who was my scout, he's also scouted Danny back when he was playing, and he was just so excited to see me. He's like, man, you remind me so much of Danny. And I just remember our confrontation and our discussion up in Gunnison, and just got me excited to come over here. And, the Chargers had a lot of young running backs on the roster, so I was like, look, and a new coaching staff, which was big. So the politics and maybe that aspect of making
It's
the
out the
team was
window.
gone, right? Because now everyone's on ground zero. So there's a
Right.
lot of different factors they have to look into when you're deciding your team. And it just ended up just piling up perfect. It's like, okay, this is where I think I have the best chance to make the team.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I wasn't here in 2017, but from what it sounds like and how you really got to get reps at running back, other than being a stud during the preseason and all, but you really were a special teams freak. You were making plays up and down special teams, and they were like, this guy's got to make the team, right? I mean, that's how it all kind of started.
Yeah, I mean, I came out and literally I looked at myself in the mirror. I was like, look, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I'm going full try-hard mode.
Yeah,
I don't care about anything else. I told my family, look, don't call me and ask me how the days are going. Like, I'm going to be studying, and I'm going full try hard on the field, and I don't even care. I'm just putting everything out there. So when I'm done, I'm done with this experience, I can say that was it. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And,
I love that concept, and I think it's like an idea and an ideology that anybody can have.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you're at our age, Gary Vee says it. He says anything you do under 30, there's no mistakes.
Right.
And you're like, I don't really care. I'll come back and get my degree. We'll be all right. And I am full send.
Right.
And I think if you watch the Chargers, it's like obvious that you're that type of player too, because you don't come down on the first tackle.
Beast.
Right. I remember it was a special team scout team, and Coach Lynn came into the meeting, and I was the personal protector, and I just remember on that rep, or all the full speed reps, we hiked the ball, I check protection, and I just be running as fast as I could. Fast as I could. I would not let anyone block me. Like, I was just running as fast as I could down the middle of the field. And one time Coach Lynn comes in and is like, Coach Stu, who's that number 3?
Who's number 3?
He's like, he goes, that's Austin Ekeler. He's been doing it all day. We can't block him. And he's just like, it's like I'm standing out, because shoot, I'm on scout team. That's all I'm getting is scout team reps, right? So I got a long shot. I got everything to prove. So any little bit of film I can get on there, I was literally going all out.
I really want to ask you about this, because I remember being in the hotel in San Diego. And we would all be like, oh, we're done with stuff. Let's go get food, like at Pacific Beach. And I just always remember leaving the hotel and looking over and seeing you in the room, like the little conference room, studying.
Right.
And we didn't know who you were. I was telling them, I put you on my phone as Austin Muscle, because I knew you were strong. Your name was Austin. Didn't know who you were. What was your mindset when you were sitting in the conference room by yourself studying plays?
I think it was probably, I'm not going to go out with Isaac Rochelle. Probably going to be a lot better time just studying.
This
look
guy,
at those guys. Hell no.
Look at that soggy body. I'm 2% body fat. I don't want to go eat nachos. But what were you thinking?
No, I just remember, like, my first play, I was just so nervous. Like, literally so nervous that I was throwing up. Like, I threw up in the huddle. I had to pull myself out my first play ever.
This is in practice?
Yes, in practice, during
practice.
OTAs. During
Love
OTAs.
That. Love that.
I was throwing out because I was just so nervous, because I was like unsure of like what I was doing. I wasn't able to play fast. And so that's literally why I was in this little room. I remember, during rookie minicamp, I had the other running backs, but I was the only undrafted or only running back we brought in. So it was just me in there studying, and I'd be walking through the steps because Coach Lynn, he was the old running back coach too, so he'd always be over in our drills and just drilling me like, hey, you need to be on this aiming point. That's not the right steps. And so my mind just like, oh, what am I doing? So I was in that room just grinding, making sure I was getting all my points down.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's just such like a intense memory in my mind, because it's like sobering for me when I'm like, what am I doing?
Which, by the way, have you ever thrown up from being nervous?
No.
Before a game or anything?
That was the first time that ever happened to me too.
Really?
Yeah, I just felt sick and just uneasy and just throwing up.
You have?
I've had a couple games before,
wow.
like big games in college. I haven't done it in the pros yet, but in college I remember I would throw up. But right after I'd be done throwing up, I'd like look at myself in the mirror and be like, I'm going to have a good game.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Get it out. Get it out.
I'll get nervous, but I'm not going up. But either way, I think that has a lot to do with just your like full send mode. Like, you're so committed to it that it's almost to a point where you become nervous and anxious about it. Right. I love it though.
Right.
I got to ask you about this too. So you end up making the team. You're grinding. I mean, I saw an interview of you when you first found out you made the 53-man roster. You were juiced up. So Ekeler's first game, what was the biggest crowd you had ever played in front of at Western Colorado and high school?
Maybe like 1,500.
Where were your nerves pulling up to that stadium when you're like, all right, I've never played in front of 30,000 people?
Right. I think just going through preseason, and actually even our training camp had more people than were at my games. So that kind of helped me mask, myself as far as being in front of the crowd, just because we practice in front of it every day. It kind of helped me get through that when it got to the actual games. But the opening game at Denver, it was pretty surreal for me, just because
it was at Denver.
It was at
Monday
Denver.
Night Football.
Yeah, Monday Night Football.
So that place is packed. 'Cause I remember even going
crazy
when we played Denver last year. I remember looking up at that Broncos sign.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there wasn't a lot of Broncos fans there, but I remember looking up and like, this place packed? It'd be nuts.
No, it was jam packed. It was the first game of the season.
And you're back home.
Yeah, back in Colorado, so I got a squad there.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sure that they
And
all
so-
buy their own tickets, or how'd that go?
Shoot, that was my rookie year. Heck yeah, they
This
buy
man's
their own
like Brian
tickets.
made it down.
What do you mean? First game.
I mean, looking at you now, do you, and I always ask people this, he can probably guess what I'm about to ask. Do you feel like now you are a different Austin Ekeler than you were when you first came into the league?
Mentally, yeah.
How so?
Mentally, just because now I'm in a spot where I know that the coaches trust me on the field, and so I'm not really out to prove myself to them. Now I'm out to prove myself to myself that I can do more. How far can I push myself to go? Not just to make the team anymore. Now it's, okay, what else can I do? Can I get that starting role? You know, Mel's back. He's starting now. So I got a little taste of it, and it's just like, just keep moving the bar forward for me. And I feel like that's for everyone in their personal goals. How far can I push myself to move my bar and just set that standard? So when I'm done, I can look back and say, that was everything I had. And I'm looking back, I'm saying, wow, that was a great run.
Wow. I just love it coming from Ekeler. Out of all people, it's like I can appreciate it from Ekeler because we said the same thing with Justin.
I mean, the point I took from there that I loved was that you're not out to prove to the coaches or anyone else. It's to prove to yourself.
Exactly. That's why, like, when people ask me, like who do you compare yourself? Like, I don't really compare myself to other people. Like, I'll see it on the stats. Like, that's great. But for me, like, you can't really compare yourself to anyone else besides yourself in the past. And so it's just, I don't know. It's like just a mental thing for me. Like, I want to be the best that I can be, which I feel like that's, everyone wants to do that. But that's how I just see myself, as comparing, okay, I'm comparing myself to what I did here, and let's learn from that instead of, comparing myself to another running back or things like that. That's great, but I think it comes back to yourself because that's really where you can learn.
No doubt. And one of my favorite things that happens is when you score a touchdown,
The classic.
you hit the absolute hardest rock star guitar
Right.
I've ever seen. And you might even do it wrong.
I
A
think
few
you do it
times.
backwards.
A few times I've done it this way, but I've corrected myself. I'm going down, up to down now.
I'm
Up
sure
to
we're not
down
the
now.
first people to get
Oh
the
yeah,
old
oh
critique.
yeah, it's all good. No, but when I'm playing I'm breaking the strings
you're just
off.
rocking it
We're breaking
out.
them off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could even continue it one time and just strum it and then take it and then slam it on the ground.
my
Hey,
gosh.
you might see that. You might see that. I'm putting it on.
Oh.
And then it might hit a little swing. You know what I mean? Yeah, get a little spicy with it.
It's funny because you scored your first touchdown ever was the Philly game, right?
Yeah, that's my first regular season carry too.
First carry, it was
My
his
first
first
carry,
touchdown.
first touchdown.
carry,
And
first touchdown.
He broke out
Not
the
bad.
celebration.
Not that time.
When did you do it? Because
It
I
was
just
versus
remember,
Denver. It was like the next game, I think.
and we're all kind of confused
And everyone's like,
and
what the
excited.
heck?
We don't
Like,
know how to feel.
right,
like,
right.
Why the guitar?
Everyone's like, yeah, sick celebration, weirdo.
Like, yeah, everyone still says that. People are on the fence.
Weird.
on
I'm a
it.
fan. I'm a fan.
There's either like I
love it.
like it or like no, you got to change it up. you know?
No, I'm a
What-
huge fan of it.
To the random fan, they probably are a little confused.
Yeah, that's all good. I
But
mean,
now it's a brand. Like, it's who you are.
right, it's just a part of me. It's like my staple, my signature. Everyone's like, "Hey, Ekeler." I'm like, "Yeah, see, you know my name."
Yeah, turn up,
yeah,
let's go.
exactly. Everyone does a bunch of dance moves. People are like, "Oh, these guys can dance," but now like something like staple to my name, like, "Oh, guitar guy." Yeah,
Guitar guy.
You know?
Everybody in Eden,
I mean, when we
Colorado.
went to that Santa Monica Pier draft party, you hit that guitar hard and you jumped into a stage dive.
Yeah. I was actually terrified. I was.
Yeah,
if you
what are we
watch
doing?
the actual video, I did not jump. I'm like slowly oozing on. I'm like, don't drop me. Like I'm like 5 feet in the air. Don't drop me.
Is the air guitar inspired by your weird fascination with Slipknot?
Oh,
Hey, yeah. See, I
We did
appreciate
our
you digging a
research.
little bit.
Oh, yeah.
no,
I'm just saying.
Slipknot, Disturbed. I love listening to hard rock, especially when I'm working out. And I don't know. I think it's just from being in Gunnison. There was only a few stations, so we didn't like music would come out. music would get up to
Gunnison,
Gunnison. I'd be like,
yeah.
"Dang, this is a good song." People are like, "Oh yeah, it's been out for a while."
Oh,
So I was like, whatever. I'm listening to rock.
I mean, what did
The
they
good
have? They had,
classic rock.
They had a country station, classic rock, and heavy metal, and you're just like, yeah.
I've never even
Give
heard
me
of a
the
heavy metal, of a heavy metal station.
I mean, it's not really heavy metal. It's like rock. Like
Oh, come on.
I think we can agree that Slipknot, if that's even how you say it, is heavy metal.
That's heavy metal.
is it heavy though? I feel
What?
like
If that's not heavy, what is?
yeah, you listen to some heavy metal, then you'd be like, oh, okay, that's different.
I mean,
like,
can you
Slipknot, Disturbed? See, they actually still sing. The heavy metal, I feel like you're really like, you know, like
Wow,
actually.
that's a nice little
Is that not
second career.
Is that not Disturbed?
No,
Have you heard
no.
their song?
Yes, I've heard the song. I mean, they have some
have
yelling.
the- they have the
yelling,
song,
but
though.
I don't know. There's more lyrics in it, so I don't know. I'm not an expert. I just like the music.
Whatever. We love the guitar.
Do you know who Disturbed is?
Yeah. Oh,
I don't.
that song, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I know that
Yeah.
song. That was
you go.
good too.
Yeah, it's Disturbed.
There, see, you got a fan.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who they are though. But either way, give us a little shout out to your YouTube channel because I've been watching.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're listening, go
Yeah.
watch Tay and A.
Yeah,
Right?
check out Tay and A. My girlfriend and I, it's like our little hobby that we do. We're just, have fun and just do some challenges, some vlogs, probably get some workouts in the off season. Like I started my own channel back when I was in Australia working out, and
Not bad.
yeah, it was just straight workouts, and I loved it. I've filmed my workouts since I was back in college. You can check on my Instagram. I have my college workouts on there, and so I met Taylor like a year and a half ago, and she
Shout out to Taylor.
You know what? Shout out to Taylor.
Shout out to Taylor Frick. Yeah, she was a vlogger back in her day, and she when she was young, when 12 years old is when she first started vlogging, and so we met up, and it was just like perfect. Let's make a YouTube channel.
Wow. Match made in heaven.
There
You
go.
should definitely go watch the video where he disguises himself and goes to her work.
Yes, so a little shout out to the channel. Yeah, I went to Taylor's work.
This is
I'm not going to give you the
hilarious.
details 'cause you got to go watch the video, but I went to Taylor's work in a disguise, and I wanted to see if she would recognize me or not, and that's all I'm going to say. It's hilarious. You got to go watch it.
Well, it's funny because the disguise is not that intense.
It's not that intense, but yeah, I'm not going to tell you what it is.
No more details.
No,
more
yeah,
details.
go
no
check
more
it out.
details.
Go check it out. Tay and A.
Wow, I love it. Well, I really appreciate it. I could sit here and talk to you for
Yeah.
hours on hours.
It's probably been a long time. I feel like we're just, chatting it up. It's flowing nice.
That's
I
what
like
we
it.
do.
I mean, I
Bring
can give you
players
the
on.
exact time. It's been 36 minutes, but
And
Nice.
42 seconds.
yeah.
43, 44.
No, but this has been a great interview. I was looking forward to this one. I was
Yeah,
waiting to
okay,
get you on here.
No, I appreciate you guys getting a nice setup. It's changing it up a little bit
getting
and
the
getting me
budget
on
straight.
the Mike
Well,
and Ike podcast.
You know, I didn't even know that you were such a farmer. I knew Ike was a farmer, so this
Yeah.
kind of works out perfect.
Yeah.
That is crazy. All right, appreciate you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, brother.
All right.